Have you ever realized that some people don't ruin your life through major actions? They slowly wear you down with small requests. Not with aggression, not with betrayal, but with, "Can you do this for me?" asked again and again until your peace, your time, and your self-respect quietly fade away. Stoic philosophers warned about this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Guard your mind, it is your one true fortress." And the truth is simple. Most threats don't enter your life loudly. They slip in every time you say yes to the wrong person. Today, we're breaking down 8 types of requests that reveal someone you should distance yourself from immediately. If you've ever felt drained, used, manipulated, or guilty simply for protecting your boundaries, this will feel like clarity. Stay with me till the end. Your understanding of peace will shift forever. 1. Stay away from people who ask you to sacrifice your peace. Some people don't hurt you through actions, they hurt you through expectations. Not by confronting you, but by quietly asking you to abandon your emotional truth. It starts with lines like, "Don't be so sensitive, you're overreacting. Why does this matter so much? Just let it go." These statements seem harmless, but they hold a hidden message. Make yourself smaller so I don't have to confront who I am. When someone asks you to stay silent, stay calm, or stay small just to make them comfortable, they're not asking for peace, they're asking for control. They want you to mute your instincts, bury your emotions, and tolerate behavior that slowly damages your well-being. The Stoics warned about this long before us. Marcus Aurelius said, "If something disturbs your peace, you have the power to step away." Peace isn't passive. Peace is a discipline, and anyone who expects you to give it up is asking you to betray your own mind. Think about the people who shame you for having normal human feelings. They never ask, "How can I improve?" Instead, they ask, "Why are you reacting?" They twist the narrative, they shift the blame, they make your discomfort your responsibility. A healthy person doesn't mock your emotions. A healthy person doesn't fear your boundaries. A healthy person doesn't need you to stay silent to keep the relationship intact. Only someone who gains from your silence would want you to give up your peace. And the moment you see this clearly, you'll understand the truth. Your peace was never the issue. Their fear of accountability was. Whenever someone repeatedly asks you to minimize, ignore, or suppress what you feel, the Stoic answer is simple. Step back, create space, protect your inner world. Because the person who asks you to sacrifice your peace is the first one you should avoid. 2. Stay away from people who ask for your time but never offer theirs. Some people don't exhaust you with big demands. They drain you through constant small favors, endless little tasks, and the quiet belief that your time should always be available for them. They seem harmless because they rarely demand loudly, but they always need something, and it's always from you. It begins with, "Can you help quickly? I just need 5 minutes. You're good at this. Can you do it for me?" But those 5 minutes slowly turn into hours, days, and emotional labor you never agreed to take on. And the pattern never changes. When you need help, they vanish. But when they need something, you're the first name they call. In their mind, your time is always flexible. Your priorities can wait. Your plans can pause, because their needs matter more than your boundaries. Stoic philosophy addresses this clearly. Seneca wrote, "People guard their money carefully, yet waste the one thing that can never be returned, time." A person who constantly consumes your time without gratitude or reciprocation isn't just careless, they're dangerous to your growth. Think about the hours you lost because someone treated your availability like their personal resource. Think about the projects you postponed, the rest you skipped, the goals you delayed because someone said, "It won't take long." Healthy relationships have balance. Both people give and receive. Unhealthy ones revolve around extraction, one person taking and the other slowly emptying. A good person values your time. A selfish person feels entitled to it. The biggest red flag? They get irritated when you say no. They act offended when you set boundaries. They see your refusal as betrayal instead of self-respect. Your time is your life, and anyone who disrespects your time disrespects your life. So stay away from those who expect you to rearrange your world for them, but wouldn't shift a single minute for you. Time thieves don't just slow you down, they quietly pull you away from the person you could become. 3. Stay away from people who ask you to carry their secrets. Some people don't ask for your help. They ask for your silence. They want you to become the vault that holds everything they don't want to face. They call it trust or closeness. But what they're doing is transferring the weight of their actions onto you. It starts with, "Don't tell anyone, just keep this between us. You're the only one I can trust." It sounds flattering at first, but soon the secrets get heavier, darker, more complicated. Not secrets that protect them, secrets that trap you. They drag you into their conflicts, their drama, their moral chaos. Stoic philosophy warns us never to tie our peace to someone else's disorder. Marcus Aurelius said, "Stand upright. Do not be kept upright by others." When someone forces you to carry what they can't face, they're not seeking support, they're seeking escape. People who unload secrets onto you create an invisible contract. You carry the guilt, the stress, the anxiety, while they feel temporary relief. And if things go wrong, they expect you to cover for them, to lie for them, to defend them, to compromise your values to protect their image. That isn't loyalty, it's manipulation disguised as vulnerability. Think about the people who constantly pull you into conflicts that aren't yours. They tell you who said what. They make you pick sides. They want you to hold their emotional storms for them. They want you to absorb their chaos so they don't have to feel it. But here's the Stoic truth. If a secret threatens your peace, your integrity, or your reputation, it isn't yours to carry. Healthy people confide to heal, not to trap. Unhealthy people use secrets like chains. The more you know, the harder it becomes to step away. So when someone repeatedly hands you emotional bombs and expects you to hide them, step back. You are not a container for someone else's guilt. You are not a shield for their consequences. You are not responsible for the weight they refuse to hold. Stay away from those who ask for your silence but never consider your well-being, because anyone who burdens your spirit to lighten their own will eventually drop you the moment you're no longer useful. 4. Stay away from people who ask you to lower your standards. There will always be people who feel threatened by the standards you choose to live by, not because your standards are extreme, but because they expose the parts of themselves they refuse to improve. These people don't ask for favors, they ask for something far more dangerous. They want you to become a smaller, less disciplined version of yourself. It starts subtly. Why are you so strict? Relax. Nobody cares that much. Just this once. It's not a big deal. But every time you lower your standards, just this once, you send a quiet message to yourself. My values can be negotiated. And the moment your values become negotiable, so does your identity. Stoic philosophy teaches the opposite. Epictetus said, "First decide who you want to be, then act like it." Your standards aren't about perfection, they're about alignment. They are the compass that keeps your life moving toward the person you're trying to become. People who want you to soften your principles rarely ask for your benefit. They do it because your discipline highlights their lack of it. Your consistency exposes their inconsistency. Your integrity makes them uncomfortable with their shortcuts, and instead of rising to meet you, they want you to step down to meet them. Think about the moments where you felt pressured to compromise. You set a boundary and they instantly labeled you as difficult. You said no, and suddenly you were the cold one. You held on to your principles and they claimed you were being too much. But here's something worth noticing. The people who truly respect you never pressure you to abandon what keeps you grounded. They don't fear your standards, they value them. They don't insult your discipline, they draw inspiration from it. Those who mock, complain, or guilt-trip you for having standards are revealing something essential about themselves. They're not searching for improvement, they're seeking comfort. They don't want accountability, they want reassurance. And the easiest way for them to feel better about their own choices is to convince you to lower yours. But once you start dropping your standards for someone, it rarely ends at one compromise. It becomes a recurring pattern, a slow slide, a subtle erosion of your self-respect. Soon you find yourself becoming someone unfamiliar, someone who bends too easily, shrinks too often, and tolerates far more than you ever planned to. The Stoic path is straightforward. Never adjust your values to fit someone who refuses to elevate theirs. Stand firm in what feels right. Your standards exist to guard your mind, your character, your future. Distance yourself from those who want you to be less so they can feel more. Because someone who needs you to lower your standards will eventually ask you to lower your identity. 5. Stay away from people who ask you to fix them. Some people don't want transformation, they want rescue. They don't seek guidance, they seek dependency. And instead of taking responsibility for their own life, they look for someone who will carry it for them. If you're compassionate, reliable, steady, or emotionally strong, you become their perfect target. It begins with flattering lines like, "You're the only one who understands me. I don't know what I'd do without you. Can you help me? I can't do this alone." But soon, help me becomes fix me. And no matter how much time, energy, or emotional strength you give, nothing changes. Because they were never trying to heal. They were looking for someone to manage their chaos while they continue living the same way. Stoic philosophy sees through this clearly. Epictetus warned, "You cannot teach someone who believes they already know, and you cannot save someone who wants attention more than growth." People who want you to fix them often live in repeated cycles. Problems they create, drama they recreate, mistakes they refuse to learn from, crises they could avoid but never do. You become their emotional firefighter, constantly putting out flames they keep lighting. The danger isn't only exhaustion, it's losing yourself. You start feeling responsible for their progress, their decisions, their failures, as if their life depends more on you than on them. And this is how helpers slowly turn into prisoners. Look at the imbalance. You lift them when they fall, but when you need support, they disappear. You guide them through every storm, but they never show up for yours. And the biggest warning sign? They reject every solution you give, but cling tightly to your sympathy. They don't want healing, they want a caretaker. A healthy person may ask for help, but they take steps on their own. They learn, take action, adapt, and grow. An unhealthy person asks for help to avoid responsibility. They hand you their emotional wounds and expect you to stitch them together. But the Stoic truth is unchanging. You are responsible for your own soul, not for repairing someone who refuses to stand on their own. When someone expects you to fix their life while doing nothing to fix their own, the wise choice is distance, not because you lack compassion, but because you refuse to sacrifice your sanity. Stay away from those who want you to be their lifeline, but refuse to learn how to swim, because trying to save someone who doesn't want to save themselves will eventually pull you under too. 6. Stay away from people who ask you to choose them over yourself. There's a certain kind of person who isn't looking for a relationship, they're looking for ownership. They don't want partnership, They want priority, even if it costs you your mental health. They turn their needs into emergencies, their desires into obligations, and their insecurities into your responsibility. It sounds like, if you really cared, you'd do this. You always put yourself first. I guess I don't matter to you. These aren't expressions of love. They're tools of manipulation, subtle ways to make you choose them at the cost of yourself. And the moment you give in, they learn a dangerous lesson. Your needs are negotiable, theirs are not. Stoicism makes one thing very clear. You cannot give what you don't have. If you sacrifice your rest, goals, peace, or well-being just to avoid upsetting someone, you're not showing love. You're abandoning yourself. People who demand to be chosen over your well-being often carry deep-rooted insecurity. But instead of healing it, they project it onto you. They crave constant reassurance, constant access, constant validation. And when you don't give it, they use guilt as punishment. Think about those times you tried to set a boundary, rest, or focus on your life. They became distant, irritated, or accusatory. Your independence felt like betrayal to them. Your self-care felt like neglect. But here's the truth they don't want you to see. Anyone who needs you to lose yourself in order to stay in their life isn't capable of healthy connection. A mature person says, I support you taking care of yourself. An insecure controller says, if you cared, you wouldn't need space. One nurtures you, the other drains you. And the more you choose them over yourself, the more invisible you become. Your goals fade, your joy dims, your identity erodes until all that's left is the version they prefer, obedient, predictable, always available. But Stoicism teaches alignment, not approval. You are responsible for the direction of your life, your choices, and your inner world. Never hand someone control over your emotional oxygen. When a person pressures you to choose them over your peace, values, or growth, the right choice, the Stoic choice, is simple. Choose yourself. Walk away from the guilt trap. Walk toward clarity. Because the moment you reclaim your right to prioritize yourself, you'll realize the only people who fear your independence are the ones who benefited from your self-neglect. 7. Stay away from people who ask you to break your boundaries. There's a type of person who doesn't test your patience. They test your limits. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly until no stops meaning no, and just this once becomes an expectation. It starts quietly. Come on, don't be so serious, just this one time. Why are you making this a big deal? Relax, nobody else would mind. But here's the truth. They're not asking for a small favor. They're asking for permission to cross a line. People who push your boundaries always look for one thing. How much can they get away with? How far they can go before you push back? And at what point you stop defending yourself? Stoic philosophy teaches that boundaries are an act of virtue because they demand courage, clarity, and respect for your own soul. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And every time you allow a small violation, you slowly start shading yourself into someone who accepts disrespect without noticing. Think about how it usually unfolds. You say you're tired, they insist you stay. You say you can't help, they make you feel guilty. You say you're uncomfortable, they crack jokes about you being uptight. You express a limit, they treat it like a negotiation. Healthy people hear your boundaries and adjust. Unhealthy people hear your boundaries and push harder. And here's the truth most people miss. Boundaries don't drive the right people away. They reveal who the right people are. People who respect you respond with, "Thanks for telling me, I understand. What works better for you?" People who don't respect you respond with, "You've changed. You're making this a big deal. So now you think you're better?" If someone accuses you of changing just because you're protecting yourself, what they really mean is, "You're no longer letting me take advantage of you." The second you enforce a boundary, manipulators feel threatened. Why? Because your strength exposes their behavior, your clarity weakens their control, and your confidence takes away their leverage. Boundaries never offend good people. They only offend the ones who are benefiting from your silence. So when someone keeps asking you to bend, stretch, or break your limits, step back. Not because you're rigid, not because you're selfish, but because you've finally understood something crucial. Someone who doesn't respect your boundaries doesn't respect you. Distance is not punishment, it's protection. Stay away from those who see your limits as barriers to push through. Your boundaries exist to keep your life aligned, not to make their life easier. 8. Stay away from people who ask you to betray your values. Nothing is more dangerous than someone who tries to pull you away from the principles that define you. This isn't a small favor. This isn't something harmless. This is an invitation to abandon yourself, and nothing destroys a person faster than that. It starts with seemingly tiny requests. Just lie for me. It's nothing. Don't mention this. Cover for me. No one will know. You're too honest? Relax. But every request like this takes something from you. Because the moment you compromise your values even a little, you begin to lose the inner clarity Stoics call virtue, the foundation of strength, stability, and self-respect. Stoic philosophy teaches that true power comes from staying anchored in what is right. Epictetus said, "A man can't learn what he believes he already knows." Someone who wants you to bend the truth, break your integrity, or do what you know is wrong isn't asking for help. They're asking you to join their blindness, and here's where it becomes dangerous. The first compromise feels harmless. The second feels easier, and soon you're not just crossing the line, you're living on the other side of it. Think about people who constantly push you toward gossip, manipulation, deceit, or destructive behavior. They don't just want your cooperation, they want your cosign, because if you join them, they don't have to face their actions alone. Your involvement becomes their justification. But when consequences appear, when truth comes out, when accountability arrives, these people will not protect you. They will not stand with you. They will not take blame with you. People who ask you to betray your values will abandon you the moment those values are needed. Remember this, someone who truly respects you will never ask you to lie, hide, cheat, manipulate, or compromise your character. They will never push you into something that costs you your peace, your reputation, or your moral compass. Your values aren't optional. They aren't up for negotiation. They aren't temporary or seasonal. They are the unseen structure of your life, the quiet strength that keeps you steady when everything else around you shakes. So keep your distance from anyone who tries to convince you that integrity is outdated, that honesty is too strict, or that principles are inconvenient. Words like these usually come from someone who has already drifted away from their own path and wants you to drift with them. Stand steady, stay honest, walk in truth, even if it means walking alone. Because being alone with integrity is always safer than being connected through betrayal. When you look back at the 8 requests we discussed, a pattern starts to reveal itself. One the Stoics understood long before modern psychology ever tried to explain it. People don't always harm your life through direct actions. More often, they harm you through what they ask from you. They take your peace, your time, your silence, your standards, your emotional energy, your self-respect, your boundaries, and eventually, your values. Each request looks small in the moment. Each one feels easy to ignore. But over time, these quiet compromises change the direction of your life. They shape who you become, what you tolerate, and how deeply you trust yourself. The Stoics taught that the biggest danger isn't the person who attacks you openly, but the person who slowly influences you without you noticing. Corruption happens quietly, erosion happens slowly, and self-betrayal often feels like kindness in the beginning. But nothing is worth losing the core of who you are. So, as you move forward, keep this close. Stay away from people who ask you to sacrifice your peace, because peace is the root of clear thinking. Stay away from people who drain your time, because time is the one thing you never get back. Stay away from people who burden you with their secrets. Your mind isn't meant to store someone else's chaos. Stay away from people who pressure you to lower your standards. Your standards protect your future. Stay away from people who want you to fix them. You're not responsible for someone who refuses to grow. Stay away from people who want you to choose them over yourself. Love should never demand self-destruction. Stay away from people who push your boundaries. Your boundaries are the frame of your self-respect. And most importantly, stay away from anyone who expects you to betray your values, because your values are the final shield that protects your soul. Living a stoic life doesn't mean becoming cold or distant. It means protecting your clarity, guarding your inner space, and choosing relationships that uplift you instead of draining you. You're allowed to walk away. You're allowed to guard your peace. You are allowed to keep your life aligned with what is true and honorable. Your peace is your responsibility. Your boundaries are your protection. Your values are your compass. And the moment you stop apologizing for honoring these things, your life finally becomes your own.